Hi guys, and welcome back to Couch Critics. I'm Ruby.
And I'm Lamia, and today we're gonna review The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes,
It's a Martin Scorsese movie.
right. I looked it up and I was like, oh, Martin Scorsese.
It's so funny because I feel like Martin Scorsese is he usually makes the funniest movies and the coolest movies, and you wouldn't think, I wouldn't think of Martin Scorsese when it comes to The Wolf of Wall Street. To me, it's a young finance guy who just was like, let's just do this.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, but it makes sense because it was filmed in 2013, and I feel like at the time there was a lot of monopoly when it comes to directing movies. Like there were a few good directors who had like most movies that were famous.
And so basically, this is the real story of Jordan Belfort. He's this guy who always dreamed of becoming super rich, and so he starts working at Wall Street and starts getting a lot of money, and then decides to start committing financial fraud, and then he makes even more money, like a crazy amount of money, and he starts doing, I don't know, he starts sending his money to Switzerland illegally. So I don't know how fraud works.
But yeah.
Basically, it was illegal. And then he gets caught and goes to jail. And basically, what happens, this is not included in the movie, but when he was in jail, he wrote a book. I think he wrote The Wolf of Wall Street because it's actually a book. And then the book was adapted by Martin Scorsese. And it stars Leonardo DiCaprio as Jordan Belfort and so many A-list actors. Margot Robbie.
There's McConaughey. What's his first name?
Michael
No, I don't think.
Not Jordan. And Jonah Hill is in it too.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of great actors.
Yeah. And John Bertham is in it. You know, the guy that my mom met?
Oh, right, yes.
He's the drug dealer who turns into a finance guy.
Right. Yes.
And yeah, what did you think of this movie?
I also stars the actress from How I Met Your Mother, Teresa. I forgot her real name, but I really like this actor. It's his wife, Teresa, in the movie. His first wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she always takes like those small roles, but she always is really like. I always find her that she stands out. But yeah, I think it was a very funny movie. I personally think it's a dystopian movie, in my opinion, because it shows that like in the whole movie, the character was running after money, and that throughout the whole movie we see him using his money for, in my opinion, not the best causes. But yeah, it's just it was. It's a cautionary tale, in my opinion.
It's a cautionary tale, but it's also to me it's a cautionary tale, but it's also a story about perseverance. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like go do financial fraud and keep going, but it's also, to me, it's not about what happened, what the bad guy did. It's also what he did after he did the bad thing, with what followed after. Because there's a key scene at the end of the movie where he's trying to sell a pen, and that became his whole career afterward. And yeah, just the fact that it's a true story, and to see a guy who went to jail and who's now being portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio. That's a true success story. And it's crazy. It doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's good, but it's just very interesting to see how America works.
Yeah, it's very. I think it shows how America works. I looked it up and I was just curious. I was like, "What's Jordan Belfort's actual net worth?" It's minus $100 million.
Oh,
guys!
wow!
The guy is $100 million in debt. Ever since he came out of jail, I think he paid like $4 million. So now it's minus $97 million. But for me, and I checked his Instagram, of course, because I was like, I wonder what he's doing now, and he's living his life regularly, and I find that fascinating.
You know what he's doing? He has a podcast. Because I do listen to his podcast. Don't ask. This movie marks me in ways that it shouldn't have. I just was so interested in this guy, just curious about his life. You know,
Okay.
I'm not gonna commit financial fraud. But yeah, he has a podcast. It's called The Way of the Wolf, and he does bring a lot of interesting people. He brought the guy who caught him, the FBI guy.
Oh my god!
To interview him.
Oh my god!
And it's a very, very, very interesting podcast about so many things like stocks and how to invest, and like he brings in a lot of like people from different paths who talk about different things. And I used to listen to his podcast during COVID, and he was like, I feel like his talent is more about public speech. He has a way of captivating people, like a true talent, because like most of the things that he talked about weren't things that interested me as a person, but I still listened to every one of his episodes. And I learned a lot about his life. And yeah, basically the reason why he went to Wall Street was just to get money. That was his biggest dreams, to be very, very rich. He was in dental school for a day. Then when he realized that dentists don't make as much, he was like, I'm gonna leave. And yeah.
Nobody makes as much as working in sales, in my opinion, and I think it's the extreme because not everybody in sales makes a lot of money. But this is what I found fascinating in the movie. The numbers they were making were out of this world. They were really insane. And then you think about all the people who have the profession that, in my opinion, help the world like stay like fundamental, I would say, professions like doctors, dentists, teachers, all of these people. And I don't think anybody can make as much, no matter how hard you work, which I think is fascinating. Like this movie really opens your eyes on finance, on the way, like the way New York works, the way the world works.
But I don't think that, although he says that the main goal of like his fake company was to make money and to sell stocks, to me it was something like, it was a movie about addiction and greed.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at some point they lost touch with the reality, all of the people who worked in Wall Street, and it was more of an ego thing of like, how much more could I make?
Yes.
Because nothing was enough.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a cautionary tale, as you said. It's definitely a cautionary tale about not being greedy, but it's also a story about standing up after you get to the bottom, and how you could actually choose to be a good person, and turn like your very bad experience into something that people can learn from. Because it takes a lot of strength to just like bring the FBI agent who arrested you and put you in jail, and just like interview him and ask him like what was his input and what can he learn from him. And yeah,
when it goes to the extreme, it's very fascinating to see how fast we can just lose track with like real life. But yeah, again, I really agree with you, and I love the way you see this movie, because all the while I was watching it, I was like, okay, they're objectifying women, they're just like cheating. It's just like a lot of unrecommended things were happening in the movie, and to be able to take the silver lining out of it and to understand how he got there, and because it does take a lot of skill to get to where Jordan Belfort did get to, even though he lost it all, but he's still living his life.
He's living his life. He's given classes about sales, how to sell stuff, and I think he's really good at it. Because he's selling us this movie. And but anyway, speaking of the movie, this is a really, really fun movie to watch. I loved the way that it was filmed. I loved the writing, and there are a lot of like motivational speech.
Yes.
And also Margot Robbie, gorgeous.
You know, Margot Robbie at first didn't tell her parents there was any nudity in the movie, and towards the end she was trying to convince them it was CGI. And then when they watched the movie, they were like, okay, this is not CGI. But I find it fascinating because she talked about it, and it was one of her first big roles. It's what put her on the map, and it just I find it funny. I just keep watching her interviews from this movie, and it's just hilarious.
But I do think that like it was kind of necessary to like see her naked. But yeah, I remember I saw an interview of her talking about that scene, and how like people made her feel comfortable filming that scene, and how Martin had a talk with her and said that it's going to be very artistic, and a very artistic shot. And yeah, it was a very iconic role for her.
Yeah. And there's another movie about finance that I absolutely love. It's called The Big Short. It's with Ryan Gosling, of course, Steve Carell, and it's also a lot of great actors. And Margot Robbie is in that movie, but for just like one scene, she's trying to explain. And the movie talks about the 2008 financial shock, like how the market crashed in 2008. And that movie, there's just one scene where Margot explained something about the finance, about like stocks. And if in my head, while watching The Wolf of Wall Street, I was like, this feels like a continuance. Like it's the same character. In my head, it's the same woman. It's Naomi who's just in The Big Short. So yeah, it's just yeah, but I would recommend The Big Short as an alternative if you want to understand anything about finance, because
True. Yeah. I wonder how many people watched The Wolf of Wall Street and decided to go into finance thinking that it's gonna be the same. Because I know a lot of people, like get inspired by the lifestyle, and like.
I have a friend who lives by this movie, who's now also working in finance. Yeah,
that's scary. That is finance people scare. I'm in finance, but like finance people do scare me.
So you're studying it to understand.
As someone who has watched every Jordan Belfort podcast episode and who's in finance, yeah, I have the right to shade my people.
Yeah, you're fighting your fears, basically.
Yeah.
I think that sums it up for the movie.
I think so too. Go watch The Wolf of Wall Street while it's still available on Netflix.
They're taking it out soon, so
yeah.
Let us know what you think about the movie in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.